Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys? It feels like it's been forever and a day, right? But I am glad to be back, glad to be with you all. And what I want to do is take a look at EuroUSD. Now, some of you guys ask why I look at USD pairs. I like USD pairs because it's a dollar for dollar in the United States, right? So I'm getting the most bang for my buck on trading this. Whereas if I trade the yen, I believe it's around like 65 cents to the dollar. Odd, I think it's somewhere around there too. So if I can find a setup on EuroUSD, that's what I like to trade first. So before we deep dive into all of the details, I am going to complete a multiple time frame analysis on EuroUSD, which means I'm simply going to go through the different time frames and identify key pivot areas where price has a potential to reverse. And you may be asking why? Why are we doing that? Because that's how we make our money. Then I'm going to figure out my overall directional bias, and then we'll drill down to see what setup, if any, there is for us to take advantage of. All right. So the first step is I'm going to the monthly chart and I'm going to identify my most extreme high and my most extreme low and any levels in between that I need to mark off. So I've already done that. Our most extreme high is at 122,603. And I've chosen that because I have a swing high, right? And by definition, swing high is a high center candle, two candles to the left that are lower, two candles to the right that are lower. And I've identified my most extreme swing low, which is over here, right? 101, let's call it 1015. And a swing low is the inverse. Low center candle, two candles to the left that are higher, two candles to the right that are higher. All right. So now that we've done that on the monthly, there's nothing in between for me to mark off. This is still forming, so I can't count this as a high. Looking at this, let's see if our candle, I think this got taken out. So the high of this was 119084. And the high of this candle that is forming is 11918. So by 14, 13 pips, we got taken out. So this is no longer a high. So now that I'm done on the monthly, I'm going to go down to the weekly and I'm just going to do the same thing. Now I'm looking and I believe we already, let me see, because there's a way to cheat, but I don't want to cheat. High is 119084. This one was 11918. Yeah, so we can't count any of this. So I got to move on. I see an obvious low right here, right? Uh-oh. We'll change this to our weekly color. And then we'll make sure we get right at the swing low. I got another low right here. And then I got my last low. I believe it's my last. Let me make sure before I just say. And I'm looking right here, right? All there. And then we'll pick up this one. Let's adjust. All right. I think I'm good. Oh, I forgot the one right in front of my face, all right? Right here. So we'll pick this one up. But it looks like everything else that we chose, the system has already. And I just checked with my smart support and smart resistance system. Let's double check. So it's still picking up that old high just because we haven't formed a new high yet on this time frame. I will pick up the level right above that monthly. All right. And that's all I'm going to do for right now. I'm going to go down to the daily. And we're just doing the same thing again. We're looking for those highs and we're looking for the low. So this is still forming, so I can't count this, but I do have a level of resistance here. So I'm going to turn this to be red. I'm also going to pick up the level above it, which is right here. We don't have a formal swing low yet, but we do have one over here, which is our daily level. So we'll pick this up. And then I'm looking to make sure that I haven't missed anything. We do have a low right here. And then we also have a low right here. I'm going to pick up here, and then we'll also pick up this one right here. All right, that's my lowest point. My bound is the monthly low, so I'm not going to pick up anything else. I think I should be good. It looks like I do have another high over here that I'll grab. It looks like there may be one right here too. So let's double check. All right, so we have everything that we chose, the system chose to. Let's look at smart resistance. So there are 2 levels right here that I didn't get. So let's pick that up. But everything else, it looks good. Let me zoom in, make sure I got this right. All right, so we're gonna move this monthly just a wee bit higher. There we go. I think I'm good. Okay, so that's the daily. Let's go to the 4-hour. And let's do this. All right, so we had a 4-hour resistance level here. We have a 4-hour level of support right here at 11645. There's another 4-hour support just under it, which is right here. And then I'm going through, I do have a 4-hour level of support at 1153. So I'm just going through and I'm picking up anything that I did not pick up on the higher time frame levels, just to make sure that they are not forgotten about because they're important too, right? They're important too. All right, I think I'm good. Let's see. So our levels, oh, I missed one. I missed a level right here. So we'll close this up. Let's do smart support. I missed one right here. I'm grateful for this tool, right? Because I try to go in, I try to do it myself first. And then sometimes I do make mistakes. Nobody is perfect, right? So this comes in handy. This comes in hand. That's what I should have said. Okay. I'm done with identifying my support, my resistance. Don't look at the chart. It's gonna be like, girl, what is you doing? What are all these lines for? Right? People tell me all the time in the comments, this is complicated. This is too much. If trading was easy, everybody would do it. All you have to do is invest a little bit of time to understand, and you're going to be golden, right? So anyway, let's get to it. So now that I've done my support and resistance, I understand where those key pivot points are. And as we move through the different time frames, you're going to be able to see how those lines and those levels align with our Fibonacci level. And that's going to help inform us as to our potential play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my smart Fibonacci tool. I'm going to click below the last low. Boom. This is lit up because this is still active. So let's read this, right? We're going to read from left to right. Our A low is here. Our B high is at 1106, let's call it. We got a pullback that formed a weekly and a monthly level of support just before the 618. So theoretically, our D extension sits at 120588. So I'm gonna type this 120588, and this is our monthly D extension. And let's save. Oh, let me make sure it's green. So this needs to be green to show that it's a take profit. All right. So this is great. We're almost there, right? We're almost to the take profit. However, price really rejected this month. We did push as high as 119237. It looks like, or maybe even higher. But then we started getting bears into the market. And so I'm going to leave this chart. I like to keep up several charts as I move through, so I can always know what's happening, right? So we're going to leave that. We're going over to the weekly. Let's read the full scope of what's happening. So we have an A low, we have a B high. excuse me, we got a shallow push up to the 118,127. Price eventually made its way back down to the 38.2. We hit the D extension, and that fib sequence is complete. Now we have an active fib sequence to the upside that extends beyond our monthly D extension. So we have an A low, we have a B high, we have a 23.6 pullback. So it didn't hit that 38.2, right? Price never came and touched that 38.2 line. I'm going to mark this off because this is important to know. So we're going to go 38. This is what, weekly? Weekly 38.2. And we'll save. I'm going to link this down to the lower time frames. And what I'm seeing here is that price is stalling out. We saw this on the higher time frame. Price looks to be stalling out right around this area that is daily resistance and also the 118,127 zone. And so what we could see, there's a possibility for us to see price break through, come hit this 38.2, and then complete up. Or we could see price go into that monthly D extension at 12056 and then start to make a fall to the downside for a deeper retracement. And then we can kind of play from there. But as it stands right now, we don't have enough information on this chart to make any decision about trading, what we need to do, right? So I'm going to try to set up my trend lines here. Okay, so that's on point. I'll try to get this inner one too. So this is my second touch. And I need, it looks like it's there. But let's see if the system will give it to us on this time frame. It will not, which is fine. We'll go down to the daily. All right, so I linked that. I believe I linked that down. Did I link it down? Yes, I did. Okay, so let's go to the daily. And we're still running our fibs to the upside, right? So I forgot I transferred down with them. So our low got taken out. Look, our low over here got taken out by this low. So we need to start the fib at the most recent low. So this will be here. And based on this active fib, right? So active is lit up green and yellow. Based on this active fib, A low, B high, shallow push up, pull back. To the 50% fib level formed a weekly level of support, and we've been moving to the upside ever since. Our D extension sits at 119. Let me see let me hover over it. 119,299. So we'll put this 119,299, and this is daily D extension. All right, so let's label it daily D extension. And let's say we got to link this down to the lower time frames. All right, so this is like our North Star right now. This tells me this is still moving to the upside. I do want to throw on, excuse me, a trend line. I don't want to cut through candles. Let's see. Okay, so mine is off. I got to make sure I'm at the bottom. Okay, we can deal with that, right? If I grab an inner one too, though, we've already started breaking to the downside. Yep, that's right. Okay. So, this is the daily setup. So in the daily, we were just shy of our D extension. The high got to 119,188, and our D extension is at 119,299. So we were off by what, 11 pips or so? So now what I'm going to do, I will leave this as is. I'm going to go down to the 4-hour on a separate chart, and I'm going to look at the 4-hour view. So I like to think of it like this, like for those of you guys who watch sports or whatever, you have multiple camera views of the same game going on so you can understand the different parts of the game. That's essentially what we're doing and why I have so many charts. So I am going to start my fib from the bottom, and we're going to go to the lowest point. I'm going to deploy, and I'm going to go to my next low till I get an active fib. This is the fib. Oh, I didn't link it down. Let me link this now. You want your TPs on all your time frames. All right, so now it's linked down. This is my active fib to the upside, right? So now this doesn't tell me anything other than the direction. I got to figure out if I can get in for the move and what the move is to the downside. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to move my fib over to the C, the deepest point. And looking at my previous fib, we had an A low, we had a B high, we had a 50%, almost 61.8 pullback. D extension was hit, right? So the active fib right now is still moving to the upside, but we need to measure this move to the downside, okay? Because the D extension was hit. We got to see how far is this going to go. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my fib to the downside. And this is our current active fib. Now, I will go 1 degree lower because I need to see what's going on. And I believe this is 117130, 11707. I'm looking to see if we hit the 38 too. 117059. I don't think we have. So I'm going to mark this off for myself so that I know. Because what we could see, guys, is something like, let's see. And this is on the hour. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at on the 4 too. So if you look at the candles, right, you see how small and how choppy they're starting to get. It looks like you got a hanging man right here. Like, to me, this looks like price is beginning to lose momentum as we approach this 38.2. So price so far has only hit the 23.6. And what I see beneath that is a daily level of support that aligns with the 118127. So what I want to do, I'm going to get rid of this fib. I'm going to go to the 15. I'm going to measure the move to the upside to see if we've completed. Oh, this is not lined up well. Let's fix this. Okay, that's better. Let's see what the system says. All right, we're good. So I'm going to take my smart fib tool. I'm going to measure. So this got taken out. So our last low got taken out by the next low. So I'm going to do measure from my low. And what we have is A low, B high. Looks like we have a 50% pullback. Our D extension sits on the hour here. So let's mark this as 15-minute D extension. And let's save. So I'm going to get rid of this. We'll get rid of this. And then I'm going to go back to the 4. And we're going to measure this down move. I want to see where our level falls. So if we hit the 15-minute D extension, then we hit the 38.2. So what I am seeing is the potential for, so if we look at this, let's look. Right. So we got A high, B low. We got a 38.2 pullback that formed a daily level of resistance. We hit the D extension, price retraced, right, and pushed back. So the opportunity is, if you remember, on our higher time frame, we still haven't hit the D extension to the daily upside, right? 119355. So an option could be that we see price continue to the upside and finish out that sequence and then move to the downside, right? Or we could also see this. and this is what I'm leaning to. Imma get rid of this trend line. I mean, I kinda want it there, but I also need, let's see, I need my counter as well. So let's look at this. I'm gonna measure to see if it's right. It is. So what I am thinking, and I could be totally wrong, right? It's a game of probability, is I'm thinking that we could also see, and that's right, that we could also see before we hit the 38.2, a push to the downside, right? A stall out, and then the move to the upside, right? And then the completion. The alternative, because you got to look at all possibilities, right? So we could also see price push up to the 618, and then we continue to the downside and hit the D extension. But what you have here is a weekly level of support, which is very, very strong, which means that price would need to push back because it's not like we have just a straight drop, right? Price has not been to break through the level of weekly support from the level that it's at. It would need a deeper retracement, in my opinion. So this could be the option for a sell setup, or we could see price continue and break out. What I need to look at though, I'm pulling up my stochastic RSI. I don't like it on the chart, and so I use the one in MT4. So bear with me. Bear with me. I'm pulling it up. All right, so on the 4-hour, we are coming out of the oversold zone. On the 1, we are in the overbought zone, which leads me to believe that we may see that option that I was telling you about, where we have that short-term sell down to 1663 and then see a move to the upside. On the 15, we are, it looks like, headed to the downside. So my bias, right, my personal bias based on what I'm seeing is that I think we have a short-term sell opportunity and then another move to the upside. I would really like to see price complete this daily day extension, but let me look on the daily. Let's look on the daily. So I'm trying to read the stochastic on the daily. On the daily, we are approaching the oversold zone. So in my opinion, I'm going to get rid of this. And I encourage you, do the work for yourself, right? Come up with your opinion, what makes sense for you. In my opinion, based off of what I'm seeing on the volume indicators, based on what I'm seeing on the chart, I see a potential move to the downside to the daily support level. And then I see the potential for us to correct from this 11928. And then I think it's on for potential sale, right? But I would want to see this move happen first. So that's what I'm thinking. I have a very small position open. So I was traveling by train last week, right? Dad's big birthday, milestone birthday, and they had Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi wasn't stable. So I was only able to clock in certain amount of times. And so I scalped. So I scalp this move to the upside, and I've got a small position because I anticipate that we're headed to the downside to 1163 and then the potential move to the upside. So this, if you don't want to scalp, if you don't want to take the short-term buy, to me, this is what I'd be waiting for. I'd be waiting for price. Oops, I'm moving levels. I'd be waiting for price to come into my buy zone, and then I'd be looking for an opportunity for a buy. So, but before that though, we could see depending on how these stochastics line up, we could come to this zone, right? See price come back to this 4 and then make a move to the downside and complete this sequence and then buy. But I'm more inclined to believe that once we make this small little push down to that daily level at 116.09, that we're going to see a push to the upside to 119 and then a sell opportunity. So those are my thoughts. If you followed along, let me know. If this was somewhat beneficial to you, consider giving it a thumbs up. And then for those of you guys who are like, I get emails often about one-on-one coaching. Unfortunately, you guys know that I work full time in addition to learning to golf, in addition to being a friend, being a daughter, being a niece, being all those things. I don't have the time to coach one-on-one, but I do have a solution for you. I am opening up my cohort for the month of October this week. You can sign up to be a part of that. In 12 weeks, it is my goal to get you enough information so that you can be comfortable on the charts by yourself. You're not kicked out after 12 weeks, but it's my goal to get you out of the program after 12 weeks so that you can learn to navigate through the charts, at the very least finding your own setups by then. So anyhow, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If it was helpful to you, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you think there's somebody who wants to learn how to trade and this could resonate with them, consider sharing the video too. And I will see you guys on my next video. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.